We've got some good news in the dating frontier. It's working, y'all. The dating apps are going broke. Woo! Okay, now I got a lot to say about this. As somebody who actually liked the dating apps for a while, I had so much fun. I lived my elder ho years. I'm joking. I'm not elder. It's just a joke because I'm hotter now than I was in my 20s. Confidence and healing trauma really does a lot. Anyway, I actually had a lot of fun on the dating apps, but they have gotten so bad that and women are realizing that so many men hate us that we're just like in general like done. I'm not against dating apps and practice in my practice or even in theory, obviously, but if there's one thing that capitalism loves, it's exploitation of people, right? And women tend to be the ones who are primarily exploited on these dating apps. And, well, you gotta hit them where it hurt, the pockets. Now, in the spirit of FemFrees, which one of the things that we said was reclaiming our worth and our value, and one of the things that we didn't want to protect, I'm not saying that FemFrees is responsible for any or all of this. I'm just saying this mindset of, you know what? Places that we are the product being sold, if y'all are going to do your exploitation thing and make a ton of money off of us, well, we're just going to opt out. And then the stocks go, wow. And I love it. I love it. Feels like we don't have a lot of power in a lot of ways, but our money is very powerful. If you don't know about FemFrees, it is through January 1st, but you can go longer. Check it out, femfrees.org. Me and my mutuals put this together to help support women in all these ways, but especially with money. Because without money, we're not getting any. And here's the thing. Historically, money has been what has fueled most major progress. Not like in terms of spending money, but withholding money. And if you don't know history, where's my book? It's not here. Anything Howard Zinn. This is the children's guide, which I actually find to be really fascinating. The big one is a lot more intense. The children's guide is even more digestible, especially because it brings in children. If you study history, one thing you'll realize is the people's history is very empowering. And just Google Montgomery bus boycotts to understand the power of money. So, before I dive into this article that's telling us what the real problem is and how, oh God, I swear, like, they just keep throwing. They are throwing at the wall at this point, being like, how do we get women back on there? Well. Isn't that a great position for us to be in? Y'all need us so bad. A, it's going to take a lot for women to return to the dating app. But B, it seems like there might be a bigger problem. And that's that a lot of women are just tired of men. They're tapping out of dealing with, forking, marrying, sharing finances, and birthing the children of men unless those men make our lives better, not harder. Before I go on, if you're new here and you don't know my work, or if you've been here a while and you want to support my work, join my Patreon. There's a free tier too, just to keep up with me. But I've got a live on January 3rd with Tammy. If you don't know Tammy, she's a delusional influencer. She's also on YouTube. I'm tagging all of this, okay? She helped me change my mindset around my career and like self-respect and also just how to, see the post about that. That is on in just January 3rd. I do personal stories, travel content, all kinds of stuff over there. Because again, things you value is things that you should be spending money on. Things that like you don't value, then you should start withholding money from. And like including pouring money into men and watch hours and like pouring anything into men who hate you. Sorry. Investing in women women-owned businesses, women educators, writers, influencers or whatever. I hate that word. Content creators, whatever, comedians, blah, who are impacting you. Support them or us if I'm one of those for you. Instead of these companies and platforms and dating apps even that are selling you and exploiting you and hate you. Yes, even the women, lady bossin apps, the billionaires married to other billionaires, they hate you too. I did a deep dive on the Bumble Lady like 7 months ago. I'll try to remember to tag that video. But you know, it's like Sadie Hawkins. Like let women lead, let women chase men because that's power, empowerment. No thank you. Because men who are chased by women end up hating us even more because they're like, oh my God, patriarchy taught me I'm the prize, and then she's chasing me, so I must really be the prize. Woo! Unlimited power over her. She's desperate. I'm the prize. I'm going to really exploit her now and cheat. Especially somebody who has only used a dating app once. I'm sorry. I'm not interested in your product. I don't even think she's the CEO anymore. I don't know. I forget what happened. Don't care. Not going to look into it right now. Just remember, just because a woman made an app doesn't mean that she doesn't have a 3-story guest house, 4,000-foot guest house, and lives in compounds. You know what I mean? These people are not your friends. And I love that their pockets are getting hit hard now. Woo! Good job, everybody. While I sympathize with all women who are hurt by patriarchy, what I don't sympathize with is women who then go out and make women the product and still care more about making money and capitalism than actually doing anything good for women. I actually had a lot of amazing experiences on the app. I had the best hookups of my life. Well, actually, most of my hookups sucked. In my 20s and early 30s, on the rare occasion I even had them, because I was pretty like doing the 4B like celibacy thing for a long time. But in my late 30s, when I got horny as hell and wanted to like center my pleasure, I had fun. But the apps have gotten so much worse since I was on them. And I did have a couple of times where men were actively trying to get me to pay them money for stuff, like total scam artists. So men are like, it's not these women here catfishing and whatever. Really? Because I'd much rather be afraid of someone catfishing me than someone unaliving me and stalking me. And this dude right here, let me know if you want to hear this story. This was the one time I got played so hard. This man. Which before, the last time I tried to tell this story, TikTok violated it as bullying, even though this man is not real. Like, this is a model. This man used it's not this man, it's the man posing as this man. God, I literally lost my first account because of the video that I tried to make about being catfished. And actually quite traumatized by what the man posing to be this man did. Anyway, let me know in the comments though if you want this story, because it's a pretty long story and I want to stay more focused. Just because I had a good experience on the apps and some bad ones, but some of the most amazing experiences on the app, and actually ended up meeting Anthony, my husband, on the app. But that's only right before I was about to quit it, because I was like, you know what, fork this. Please don't use this as a story of being like, if you're like wanting to quit the apps or did quit the apps and you're like, oh, well, Melanie met her husband right before she... Please don't use my story as an excuse to go back on the app. That was, oh my God, I don't even know how many years ago. My understanding is the apps are so ridiculous now. I'm not saying don't use them, but I'm just saying if you're over them, then unless they are like actively feel safe and you feel protected somehow on them, get off. It may seem weird that I'm making this video because it worked out okay with me, but you know what? I also talk about how marriage usually doesn't benefit women. I like my marriage, but marriage in general, under patriarchy, especially if men are not literally facing patriarchy and unlearning it and are doing all this work, they are going to exploit you. The same way that I only really trust and listen to mothers who tell me the truth about motherhood. Right? Who are not trying to be like, oh my God, you should be a mother. You know what I mean? Who are like, if you really want to be a mother, you should. I love it. But like, it kind of sucks sometimes, or a lot, So just because it worked out well for me, I think I hit the sweet spot. Kind of like the UCB, if anybody knows that reference, that theater. I went to that theater at just the right moment before it collapsed into, anyway. The point is, things have their moment, and then a lot of times they get worse because of terrible leadership and systemic racism, sexism, and all the isms. So I think dating apps, their days are numbered. And here's why. So let's go into just how bad these dating apps are doing. So Match Market, which I believe is the one that owns Tinder or whatever, and a bunch there's like all owned by all the same people too. It's just a fifth of what it was 3 years ago. 1/5 of what it was 3 years ago. Okay? Tinder, it's flat. Okay, Match, they're under Match. That's what I thought. They're the one that started all this more or less. Reported that the paid numbers, user numbers had dropped on a year-on-year basis for the 8th consecutive quarter. So it's just going, boo, right? Why are they in crisis? It's not just them. It's all of them, more or less, because their target customers, particularly women, bang, 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 and younger users increasingly look elsewhere, right? There's niche apps and real life meets, or even opt out of see, this should be the thesis right here. Okay? Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but it cracks me up that they just mention this as it's a footnote rather than it being the focus of this. But okay, let's go over all the theories of why it's not working and some other valid reasons. But this right here is the reason. And when they say opting out, sure, maybe some men are opting out. Well, a lot of them never even opted into relationships. But what they should be more specific, cis het women are done. Just done. They're done. Unless a man really proves a lot, they're like, not worth it. Not worth it. 78% of the people in a recent Forbes survey are emotionally, mentally, or physically exhausted by these apps. I'm guessing that men are exhausted by them, but I know what for a fact women are exhausted because these apps are like a full-time job. That is one thing I do not miss about being on. It is a full-time job to make sure, well, you can never make sure really, but to try not to get chopped up into pieces. You know what I mean? The 3 largest dating brands are all shedding users. And those users that are remaining are increasingly unwilling to pay for access. Bumble has seen its share price plummet nearly 90% in the last 5 years. So look, there's Tinder. Now also, just look at this. It looks like they were hitting right at 2020. And then it was like, what happened in 2020 that could have caused this? Why are they not focusing on this? Is what cracks me up every time. It's like they come so close to the point, but they miss the whole point every time. Hinge has gone up, and then I'll get into that in a minute. But most of them are like barely up a little bit, but the biggest ones are going down. And so all these, many people are like, we gotta figure out what to do. We gotta trim costs, attract new users, and step up on innovation. This is just like the article I went over about the Bumble Lady. Stop using AI for everything. First of all, it is destroying the planet. Like, that is not talked about enough. Literally, AI is ruining. It is one of the biggest environmental threats we know of. And yet they're like, let's just use AI for everything. Literally everything. Unnecessarily. And also, it's like maybe they should go maybe y'all should go private. I don't understand the stock market and stuff, but it seems like a lot of things lose so much of their quality as soon as they worship the shareholders, because you just got to keep grow to please the shareholders, which is why Luigi, right before a shareholder meeting, good on you, bruh. And what's funny is that this should not be happening because the stigma around online dating is largely gone, right? Even I think I got on the apps in 2016, maybe. And still I was a little embarrassed, it is just so normal now. So what's happening? What's happening? What could be happening? I don't know. Women are realizing more and more that men are terrifying. And these apps are not rewarding women in any way whatsoever for being on them because of the way they operate and the way they don't protect us. People were really excited. Now, just 10 years later, they're tired. But who's the most tired? I don't know. It seems like there might be one group of people who is attracted to another group of people that might be really forking tired. Like, listen to this. The chief executive for customer preferences and needs have evolved. That means our categories need to change. Yeah, okay. I love watching them just trying to problem solve and not understand women, the moment we're in, and how much the red pill men, the podcast bros with microphones, have made this dating world terrifying. But they're like, no, we can just keep getting women to date men, because again, we are the product. We are the product. Because all those men aren't going to pay all that money for verifying this and, subscribe that if we're not on there. Tinder reached, again, the timing is so obvious. Tinder reached a peak of more than 73 million monthly active users in 2020. And then, I don't know, it's like something happened in 2020 that fundamentally changed women understanding patriarchy and women and divorce rates going up and all this stuff. Something happened, because since then, romance has faded. Okay, that's an interesting way to say it. Although Tinder remains the world's dominant dating app, monthly active users have dropped more than a third since 2020. Now, they just love to blame the leader. Oh, there's directionless. La, la, la. People are tired of digital-only stuff, like the pandemic. They want... Okay, sure. Maybe that's a little bit of it. Maybe the pandemic, which is ongoing still, but, the lockdowns and stuff. Maybe people were tired of being inside and all this, Zooming and everything alone. And, okay, maybe that's a little bit of it. It might be some awakening happening. Women seeing on these platforms, especially YouTube and TikTok and whatever, all these women stuck at a home with a man who actively hates them and makes their lives worse, and they're literally forced to stay in the home with them, and realizing that, wow, my husband doesn't do anything at all. Even when he's forced to be home, he makes it very clear he hates it here. He hates us. He hates me. What am I doing? We watched that for years. For years, we've been watching mothers especially, but wives be like, I don't know, he seems to smash things that I love. He seems to be stupid, but I know he's smart. He seems to spend all of his time and money on stuff, so there's none left for me. Why am I doing this again? Yeah, that's gonna affect dating out. I mean, also, Roe v. Wade and stuff like that. Also, look at this. I just love to see it, y'all. I love to see it. Tinder, I just love watching them just be like, Tinder must create excitement again. Spending time on Tinder must be worth people's time, not feel like a chore. At what point has Tinder ever not felt like a chore to women? I don't know. Even when I was having the time of my life, getting my kitty cat eaten all the time, like having so much fun, it was still a job. You're your own security guard, I had to have like a person. I was like, what would a person who didn't want me to get married say? They would be like, no, or block. You know what I mean? It was exhausting. Even when it's fun for women, it's always exhausting. I'm sure it is exhausting for men who fall for the, catfish, whatever. But, I'd argue a lot of that is because you don't know women and are trying to date way above your level. In an attempt to improve user outcomes, Tinder has been trying blah, 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 biometric verifying, blah, blah, blah. Now that is important. That's one reason why women hate it. So many of these apps. That's how I got tricked. That dude. That's before I realized that I need to ask them to send a photo doing something very specific, because it never occurred to me. I don't know why. Gullible, whatever you want to call it. It never occurred to me, because I wouldn't do it, that a man would literally create an entire fake account, fake a British accent, and talk for weeks and research Leon in order to do some CSI level crap. Oh, I really gotta tell that story. Yeah, I'll tell that story. It's on the list. Anyway, AI enabled discovery. Yeah, again, this is what I was talking about in my video 7 months ago about Bumble. They're like, I know, let's just use AI to have our AI chat bots talking to the AI chat bot of another. Y'all, AI is written by white, rich men, usually, right? We know that like the tech bros create the worst things. That's why I am so afraid of Terminator 2 happening soon, because they're just like, let's have robot dogs. Let's have robot cops. Let's have robot. Let's have our robots talking to each other. Y'all, men don't understand women at all because they don't care to and don't take the time to, and they're too entitled because of their socialization to even bother, most of them. What makes you think that my little AI chat robot that was made by a man is going to understand me and what I want and cares about my safety? Because I also did that video about Spain, I think it was. This was like a year ago, using AI for DV cases and literally being like causing death because AI doesn't understand domestic violence for some reason. I don't know why. Like, the police force should not be using AI to investigate cases of violence against women. Ugh. Or on dating apps. Now, sometimes they're like, okay. We know we need to clean up the ecosystem and create better experiences, especially for younger users and women, and we're working on it, okay? But meaningful changes do take time. Be patient. It's not that we haven't how many years they've been doing this? How many years have the apps been around? And they're like, okay, we'll work on it now. Be patient. We can't do it overnight. I bet money might be an incentive. I'm sorry, loss of money. And then remember what happened with Bumble. Remember back in August? Shed a quarter of its market value in a single day. A few months earlier, an advertise. See? This is what happens. Y'all remember when they did this? And then me and my mutuals, and we were all like, oh yeah? Fork these apps, right? Look, I'm not saying this because of us. I'm just saying, in general, women were so offended by this stupid advertising, which, I mean, who created that campaign? They literally shamed women. They had remember the billboards that were like, a vow of celibacy is not the answer. Like, these dating apps hate the idea of 4B or 5 or 6 or 7B. They hate the idea of women decentering men. Decentering women who center men. Taking the patriarchal conditioning out. They don't want that. Because that means that we're not going to need them and their validation and all the trauma that comes with so many of them anymore. So they're like, don't give up, get on out there. What's wrong with you? You quitter, loser. Bumble at least finally scrapped their signature feature, which was only permitting women to initiate chat, as if we need to carry anything else. Carry conversations too? Fork that. That's why I always hated Bumble. In theory, it sounded like a great idea, but in practice, I was like, oh, really? I gotta do this too? Oh, no! You make the first move, buddy. You ask me a question first. Now, they did pivot to Bumble BFF when they're like, oh crap, women aren't dating men as much. All right, let's monetize their friendships. Now, I did go on some Bumble BFF dates, or whatever you want to call it, meetups. In theory, it's a good, you know what? I love meeting women. I love meeting friends. And especially as an immigrant in another country, I have to work like 2 or 3 or 4 times harder to make friends because of there's all of these other extra barriers. It's hard. That's why I am a drummer now, y'all. Sorry, I was trying to find my drumsticks. I don't know how to drum. I joined a drum club. I don't sing well. I joined a choir this year. So I highly recommend that over the apps. I'm not saying that the Bumble BFF is not a good thing to do. I didn't have really great experiences with it, but I know people who have. Even the way they talk about it is so annoying. The opportunity for Bumble to monetize friendship is limitless. Everything is just about making money, y'all. They also are like, well, they're not doing as well because all the apps used to have their own thing, and I feel like they're all becoming the same thing now. Okay, sure. But that's not the real problem. I'm going to get to the real problem. Y'all already know. I'm sure you already know, but I'm just going to show you the real problem. Even insiders admit that dating apps have a foundational problem. Love and friendship are not easy for an algorithm to serve up. Yep. Now, Hinge, actually, it seems like Hinge only got more popular because they decided to focus more on longer term relationships, where Tinder was always known as like the hookup app, which I did both on Tinder. 2 of my boyfriends came from Tinder, like dozens of amazing hookups came from Tinder. A few traumatizing experiences came from Tinder, and my marriage came from Tinder. I don't know. I had good luck on Tinder, but I also think it's trash. And the only reason why I had any fun on it whatsoever is because I was ruthless. And even still, I got played. But again, all of them, even Hinge, they're like, AI is the future. They're like, yeah, we could actually make this more efficient if we used AI to read the chats between these people to then figure out what they want and I don't trust any of it. But don't forget, men outnumber women on most dating apps. That alone means that we have more negotiating power, right? Which is why it's so funny to me when men are like, you're gonna die alone. I'm like, really? How many matches do you have on any of your apps? How many messages do you have? That's just math, baby. Now, well, a lot of them are trash. It's like Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I used to be a ski instructor there in Whitewater Raft Guide, and there's like a 10-to-1 ratio of men to women. The odds are good, but the goods are odd. You're not going to find very many amazing dudes in that town, but I'm still outnumbered. I got math on my side. It's fascinating to me that there's more men on Bumble than women. Oh, that should concern the people who own Bumble. Like, what is it that you're like the feminist app? That just goes to show you a lot of men are like, that's where the women are because that's where they feel safe. And women are like, I don't know, I don't like this place. What does AI usually do? It pigeonholes people. We also know that AI is, again, it's unbelievably sexist. It is not written by women, and it's also super racist too. Why would we trust AI to read emotions any better than humans? Also, I want to throw in there, one of my friends here, and I'm assuming this is AI, but it could be a human mistake too, because this is the same root problem. She was kicked off of Tinder because they thought she was a worker. There was literally no proof of that, no cause for accusation, but she has a Filipino background, and she is sure of it, and I am sure of it, that it was just, straight up racism that was like, right, and targeted her. So if women aren't leaving the apps on their own accord, the misogyny on there from the men in the messaging and what they do to us, DTF, dude, write out the words down to fork. Like, how lazy can you be? You're definitely not going to eat my... if you won't even type the words, right? If women aren't leaving on our own accord, then the apps literally self-sabotage through their own racist AI crap. Because studies have been done. This study, and I mentioned this in that video a while ago, a study by OkCupid found that Black women consistently receive the fewest matches on dating apps, closely followed by Black men, and that women of color frequently reported experiences of marginalization, being dehumanized and homosexual on apps and dating sites. So again, that's another reason why y'all are failing. The owners of these apps don't care about any of this stuff. They pretend to care, but they don't care. Plus, there's been a lot of allegations for a long time that these apps hide potential matches from user because they want us to stay on there as long as possible. And their lack of transparency around how this all works is one reason why we rightfully don't trust them. While the major players are betting on big AI, good luck with that. Their biggest challenge is the demographic one, attracting younger users. Gen Z is like, no thanks. A lot of people are looking for more traditional ways to meet up. Then they also mentioned Field, which I was also on for a hot minute. And according to this article, they're the only one that's like not really into AI. They're going more towards like hosting in-person events and stuff like that. So I'd say if any of these apps are going to do anything, y'all should follow this model. Because if anything, people are becoming more and more cautious of AI. Not just, again, because the environmental destruction it's doing, power these machines doing AI, but because white men are writing it. We don't trust them. Oh, and also it's putting artists like myself out of work. Why do y'all think I don't write anymore? right? Like AI is ruining the lives of the careers of most of my friends, whether they're in Hollywood as writers, actors, or they're comedians, or whatever we do. AI is like, we hate art, we hate artists. I mean, AI hates all of us, but in general, it's not actually making our lives easier overall. It's just making these people rich. So here's another graph that's gonna make you feel good. Look at this. Right? I mean, look, this is 2023 here. Look at that. Look at that. They are so desperate. Look at this crap that something called Breeze is doing and attempting something even more radical, trying to make sure that the couples actually meet up. The Dutch dating brand, which launched in the UK in May, does not even allow users to message each other until they have arranged a date. Tell me a man designed this without telling me a man designed this. I'm sorry, I don't want to meet anybody in person that I've never met, seen, like, who haven't talked to, haven't, asked them questions to see if they hate women. I mean, you never really know, but there are certain things you could say or do to, like, trigger that, like, I hate you response. Like, people used to go on blind dates, but you know why? Because their friends who know them well set them up. You trust an app to set you up, even though it's not a blind date because you see their photos and their profiles. By the way, I didn't start doing this until the end, but Anthony and I, we matched. He called, we talked on the phone several times. We didn't talk up. Again, men can by the way, a lot of these men are married on the dating apps, or they're sitting next to their girlfriends who are sleeping right next to them. So most of the men on these apps aren't even single. They're trying to cheat. And even if they're not going to actually cheat, they're going to waste your time because they want excitement. They're never going to meet up with you because they're not single, or they're just lazy and would rather just whack off to the photos they're hoping you'll send them for free. Don't ever send them photos. But one of the things, don't let them talk, the back and forth shouldn't go on forever and ever. But the phone. I was like, you know what? I love that I actually felt like we talked before. I'm going to waste my time with anybody. I want to talk to them. So I highly suggest the phone. If you are still dating at all, if you can't hold a conversation on the phone, don't waste your makeup, your time, your hair products, your budget on spending on buying clothes or whatever to impress someone that you literally can't talk to on the phone super easily. You know what I mean? Anyway, especially in these days, this whole thing is crazy. They're gonna, the app is gonna tell you where to meet with one of their partner This is so insulting, but it's such good news, y'all, because they are so dumb. They're like, I know. They're all missing the point. They're missing the point. Good. Let's let them fail. Let's let them fail and completely go bankrupt. Maybe that will give them an incentive to either create a safe app. If men are on it, it's not going to be safe in general. But they can't do everything to protect their female users on the apps. And I'm only speaking from a cishet woman perspective because I don't even know what it's like to be on apps where it's not heteronormative stuff happening, But in my little world, men make these apps terrifying. So there are things that the apps can do to protect their users, especially the most vulnerable ones, but most of them won't do it. Not without charging a lot of money. So the fact that they're doing this, I love it. Let them fail. Let them waste their money on another worthless project or product because they won't face the reality that the problem is much bigger. And if you're going to sell us as your product, you better cater to us. Meanwhile, meetup stuff is going, but still, I think it's really just women are tapping out. But why are women tapping out? Well, let's get to the real problem. It could be us realizing this, that 60% of the women who died globally, it was because of our partners or family members. 60% of the women that we are seeing more and more proof that men who will not work on themselves and not deal with patriarchal violence in their social conditioning, we don't want to be her. We're looking at proof. So much proof that the men are getting more conservative and that women are terrified of dating men who've been red pilled and also who don't have jobs. They don't even go to school or work anymore. And then they hate us too? Like, no thanks. If you don't know this account, Fair Play, or the book, it'll change your life. Women in the US, at least, 46% of American moms in heterosexual relationships say their husbands make them more stressed than their own children do. Women are sharing how much giving birth changes our bodies and our lives forever. Forever. Women are being more honest about motherhood, especially parenting with these men. Meanwhile, men think that dating teenagers is normal because Leo and all them do. Women are realizing men have no friends and that makes our lives harder. Thank you. Shout out to me for this viral article. If you haven't seen my update to this, how I would change this article, please see that video. I'll try to remember to link it because I have changed my mind about some of this. Women are realizing this is also an amazing book. I'm going to release my by the way, my Patreon, I had her on a live and it was unreal. And I'm going to release some of this as soon as I get time to edit it. This book right here, change your life when you realize just how much work we're doing. Even on the dating shows, shout out to me, I wrote this too for Harper's Bazaar. Even on dating shows, they rarely have a couple that works out because even on dating shows where they have all this incentive to actually get married, they're like, no. Women are realizing that friendships are actually way more rewarding for us. Watch Grace and Frankie if you haven't yet. It literally is like it is my favorite show of all time, I think. Changed how I saw aging and especially the importance of friendship. I mean, I've always kind of like thought that way about friendships, but it solidified it. But this thing from the Atlantic is like, maybe we should rethink this. We're starting to realize the research is showing us that men are actually the ones who benefit from marriage and that they die when we die. Women don't die when their husbands die. We thrive usually, but men die because they won't take care of themselves. We're seeing all this trad wife crap, which is rooted in white supremacy culture, by the way. Now, I'm not saying stay-at-home moms. I'm saying trad wife propaganda is all rooted in white supremacy, by the way. We're starting to see that this is what they want, and we're like, no thanks. We're starting to understand things like limerence and how maybe we actually didn't love some of those men that were trash. We're starting to see that, you know what? Even men have our cars spying on us now. We're seeing study after study saying that child-free single women are actually happy. That women are getting sleep divorces because men sleep better next to us. We sleep worse. Oh no, I've done a bunch of videos on that. That being in a monogamous relationship doesn't even protect us from STI. See my last video about 50-day fiance. Because a lot of women don't realize they're in open relationship. That these good dads are actually awful. That men have all kinds of time for leisure things like sports and hobbies at our expense. That married men are healthier than anyone, where married women usually die earlier because of men. That husbands are jealous of their own children because they want to be the king baby. That a lot of them are just looking for a hospice wife anyway, and that doesn't work out well for us. That men like this are actually the villain. I owe y'all so many videos on Steve. I hate this man so much. And they want a baby because it'll be fun. And then they baby trap you and ruin your life and cheat on you anyway. That women are going to be the ones who are expected to take care of aging parents and aging in-laws. And that when these men don't find partners, they're going to come back and haunt mommy. You don't have to let them move in. They keep threatening us with a good time, like, oh, ladies, what if we replace you with robots? Please. You're gonna be working please. We already have toys. We don't need this. We got our little toy. It is all projection, y'all. This is what men are gonna be doing. They already have made machines. Like, don't let their threat scare you. It's all projection. And if there's one thing that I will put on my wall as one of the biggest honors of all time, is to find that men on Reddit are blaming me, Cecilia Regina, and some of my mutual for ruining the dating world. Those 3 women and their stupid videos ruined both my relationships and even strangers. Y'all, I took this photo this summer when a man gave me his car key to hold on to while he swam. So I mentioned that in another video a while ago. I didn't understand what that man was asking me to do until he had already gone. But the more I see how much men use us, even a man who doesn't know me was like, I know that gullible little bird sitting by herself will hold my keys. I mean, in hindsight, I would not have done that, but I didn't understand what was happening. And I was like, what? Pourquoi? And it was my little French American translating part of my brain was like, I can't keep up. Okay. And then I was like, oh my God, what? He's not even paying me to do this labor of holding and babysitting his keys. So who doesn't steal it? A man. The point being, all those are the reasons why the dating apps aren't working anymore. Right? Oh my God, I almost forgot this one. Oh, hello, Mose. He's hungry. I gotta end this. I almost forgot about the 70,000 men in this one chat teaching each other how to grape and do all kinds of awful things to women, including their mothers and sisters. So yeah, we're a little suspicious of all y'all. Rightfully so. The point is, the extinction burst thing, like the more desperate they get to try to get us on the apps and to get us to marry men and date men and have their babies, I think it's a good sign. This is all very hopeful to me. The numbers don't lie. The apps are doing this, and that's because of women. Women are choosing to protect our peace over giving men endless time. Because if there's one thing men are going to do, it's waste your time. Not all of them are going to grape you, unalive you, but they will waste your time and exploit you on some level. All of them. At some point. And our job is to hold the line. Nope, not doing that, not doing that, not holding those keys, not doing that, not doing that. And that includes engaging with them online so they can get you all riled up and ruin your day. FemFreeze.org and follow my Patreon, y'all. Let me know if you heard the comment song. Let me know any of your thoughts. Thanks for being here. Comment song, Strasbourg. Christmas Market Edition. Comment song, Strasbourg. Christmas Market Edition. If you're new here, I sing a stupid song after every video, so you have time. Okay, that's not working. I don't know how to play that thing. So write, tap a funny comment or something insightful or supportive or whatever. Look at this, a chandelier in a box hanging over a street in France. Why? I don't know, just cause. Comment song, Strasbourg, Christmas Market Edition. I know, Christmas is over, but who cares? I still have these photos. Comment song, Street Edition, teddy bear, stuff hanging up everywhere. Not sure what this is, doesn't matter. Comment song, yay! Comment song, hey! Christmas Edition. Probably a statue of somebody who did some brutal crap. Hey! Oh my God, this is so unhinged. Anyway, and leave you with a crepe. That's salmon crepe. It's actually nasty, but usually I like them. Okay, et voila. Let me know if you heard the comment song. Christmas Edition, blah, 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 blah.